Hello, everybody. My name is Waddles, and absolutely do not ever insult or make fun of my sheep face. If I see one nasty comment down below, then I will delete the entire video, so be very nice. So, earlier this week I did a video going over everything in 1.14. However, I did omit a lot of the small features from that video just to save a little bit of time. And today, we just so happen to have a little bit more time. The plan for today is to take a look at 7 smaller Village and Pillage features that you may have missed. So, each and every one of these features should be in the full 1.14 release. If you enjoy the video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn those notifications on. I make content daily, and I try to make sure it's always entertaining as well. So yep, do that stuff. Check the description for my links, and if you're starting a server, use code Waddles with CubeToast for 25% off your first month. Let's get into feature number 1. So, our first feature can be found right back over at the beautiful sheep sculpture head that I built. As of the 1.14 update, dispensers can now shear sheep. Now, I know, this feature was pretty huge when it was announced. There was a ton of hype around it. A lot of the community came up with some really cool sheep farms, but as of late, this mechanic has been completely overshadowed by all of the new amazing blocks, the new villager, mechanics, UI, AI, all of that type of two-letter stuff. And I would, honestly, at this point, consider this dispenser shearing thing a smaller feature that might have been forgotten about. Who knows, maybe if you're brand new to the community and weren't really following me or any of the snapshots at that time, you might not even know this is a thing. When I was looking at the list of features, I saw this one and I was like, oh, yeah, I am really excited about that, but I completely forgot about it. So, feature number 1, Shirring Dispensers. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with vines still. Pretty sad about that, but nonetheless, that's feature number 1. Alrighty, I see you down there typing in caps. Waddles, that's a bad feature, I already knew it. Well, I apologize. Maybe you don't know this one, right? Here, you see, as of 1.14, jungle trees now grow vines. I mean, vines can do this. So, you're probably like, okay, what? At face value, that's not really new or interesting, but there are no blocks whatsoever behind any of these vines. They're just hanging there. And that tasty new feature that I'm showing you is climbable vines without anything behind them. This is a pretty huge thing because now players and builders can have a hanging ladder with nothing behind it. This is amazing for like builds where you're really tight on space. You don't really have a way to go up to like a second story or anything like that. Well, maybe now you do, because of course you can still walk right through vines, but it is also very easy to ascend on these vines. Now, do keep in mind, vines look a little ugly, but you could completely change the look of these things with a texture pack. Maybe they'll look a little silly on the trees depending how you change them, but if your goal is just a hanging climbable ladder, well, that's totally doable now. And, I mean, I don't know. I know this is getting ahead of myself and, starting to really get hopeful, but maybe this hints at a hanging ladder functionality down the road in the future. If that were to be the case, I would be insanely happy with that. I would absolutely love to have hanging ladders without barrier blocks or something behind them. So, hanging vines, number 2. And number 3 has got to be found right over here with this amazing view of the frozen ocean. I must say, I still absolutely love these biomes. They're really nice looking. But over in this chest, we will find the wonderful smooth variants that were actually added in 1.13, and then their normal variants. So for smooth quartz, there is a block of quartz, smooth stone, just stone. Smooth sandstone is sandstone, and then red sandstone goes into smooth red sandstone. The feature here is the ability to craft these smooth variants in survival now. All you'll need to do is take the respective block that I just listed off and smelt it up in a furnace to get whatever that smooth variant is. And this is something I am big time excited about, especially the smooth quartz. Like, this block just looks so amazing now that it has the right texture. No edges, just smooth all around. I really, really cannot wait to build like a floor or something with this thing. It's just, I mean, you tell me this is ugly, because it's not at all. So trick question. Now, of course, this is going to be the same for the smooth sandstone variants as well, which also do both look very, very nice in their own right as well. They're no smooth quartz, but they definitely are no diorite at all. Like, these look really, really nice. And I believe there could be a whole lot of building uses found in any of these smooth blocks. They're all really, really nice looking and wonderful additions. And I am so excited that we can finally use these in survival. Of course, I mainly play survival, so yep, this is a really, really big thing to me. Our next feature can be found, and only can be found, in the swamp biome. Take a look at this swamp hut. Upon initial inspection, there's really nothing different about it, and if that's what you thought, you'd be pretty right. The different thing is found inside of this hut. Right in the back there, you can see a black cat. That is natural, meaning I didn't put this cat here. Swamp huts, or witch huts, as of the 1.14 update, will now not only spawn with a witch inside of them, but a black cat as well. As I'm sure you've already found out and already knew, witches are usually found, spawning in these things. But if you're in the market for a black cat, then maybe heading over to a swamp biome and checking out the witch huts in that biome for a black cat might be the way to go. Overall, this is such a tiny, tiny feature and really changes pretty much nothing, but it's a prime example of how Mojang's attention to detail is just so nice. I am a big fan of the small details, and again, this is just one of those amazing moments that showcases the attention to detail this team has amazingly. Alrighty, so moving back over into a safer, cleaner area, we find my invisible gigantic, I mean, this build is really big, it's invisible though, library here. So more specifically, we are looking for a book. Let's go ahead and I think steal this book off of the lectern. So here's a written book, right? It's cool, it's written, there's words in it, that's really not different. The different thing is found when we start interacting with this book. Players can now highlight words, jump around, even copy and paste inside of these things. There have just been so many changes to these books, and changes for the better. So if we start reading this, we'll see, hello, things have been changed quite. Ooh, I don't like that. I have a typo there, so not a problem. I can easily select in there, delete something, say, whoops, I deleted the whole word, and then just type a new word in the normal way, how it should be. And then carrying on a bit in these written iPad things. So the point here is the book is a lot more useful, and it has been changed in a good way to make using it a whole lot easier. Books can also now be up to 100 pages, so if you have a long story to tell, well, you can totally tell it in these books now and fix all of your typos and copy and paste everything with ease. The next feature is really colorful and an amazing quality of life thing. I cannot tell you how many times I've made glass blocks and then crafted them into glass panes only to realize, wow, I'm a giant derp. I meant to make black glass and I wanted black panes. Well, as of this update, we don't have to worry about that anymore. If you tend to make accidental panes like I do and then wish to convert them to a different color, well, you can do that now. All you need is 8 glass panes and then the dye of your choice. Place them in the crafting table just like I am doing here, and you can craft 8 of those panes. So no more accidentally wasted panes because you were trying to craft things fast and just skipped a whole step. Now, I'm sure if you're like an alpha crafter, like you only build large castles and cool things, you're probably making fun of the beta crafters like me and saying, yeah, but I just love this change. I think it's such a nice thing, and yeah. And finally, while we are talking about dyeing glass, we should talk about the brand new dyes in this update. This is another feature that was added way back in the beginning of this update's like snapshot release cycle, and could totally be something that you have forgotten about because it is so miner. Say hello to the white dye, the brown dye, the blue dye, and the black dye. All of those dyes are brand new. Of course, prior to the 1.14 update, we had bone meal as white dye, cocoa beans as brown dye, lapis as blue dye, and ink sacs as black dye. But those things will no longer work for dyeing things at all. Of course, you can use lapis for enchanting, cocoa beans for making cookies, bone meal for bone mealing things, but no longer for dyeing. You will need to turn those items into their respective dye variants. So if we run over to a crafting table and throw a bone meal in, we'll see that you can turn bone meal right into white dye. So really, a small extra step has been added, but this makes a whole lot more sense in terms of just dyeing things and everything good like that. As a small little bonus one to this one, all of the dyes have been also renamed, so you can find them all by just searching dye in this menu here. But with that, I think that makes up my 7 small features that you may not have realized were a thing in this update. What's a small feature that you think people are overlooking? Tell me about that down below. Are you interested in a part 2? I totally could do a part 2. I already know of a few features that I would be putting in that video. If you are, make sure you leave a like on this video and maybe even drop a comment asking for it. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can see more content from me, and also check the description for my wonderful links, like I mentioned earlier on in this video. My name is Waddles. I hope you enjoyed this one. Go have a good day. Goodbye, everybody.